What episode is this again? This is episode 48. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started if you're good. All right. Hey, Lucas. Oh, Chris, you're down here? Okay, yeah, I'm going to, just so you know, I'm
No,
starting
you
a
did
podcast,
just fine.
so.
Hey, how's it going?
Much
Happy to be
okay.
back. Thank you for having me as always.
All right. Hey, Gundam Maniacs. Welcome to episode 48 of the Gundam Explained podcast. I am Adam Blue, and joining me this week is Steven. Glad he's here because he wasn't last week, and I think I was sweating bullets the whole time without you, buddy. How's it going?
No, you did just fine. Hey, how's it
That's
going?
cool.
Happy to be back. Thank you for having me as always.
Yeah, a week that I wasn't on yours either, but yesterday I was live, so over on your channel, the links should be in the description.
Are you maybe clipping?
If not, I'll make sure to add them. But on the Midnight Hatter, yeah, yesterday's discussion was cool in the video game realm. It was all gotcha related stuff.
True.
Really cool discussion there. Because video games are always my thing, and then Gundam gotcha. Oh, I'm hearing some audio is buzzing on. Yeah. You know what?
On
Let's
our toes,
see.
and I think
that could
we
be
finally
it,
nailed down what I think is going to be a great
source.
Process for getting clean audio, clean video.
Know what you guys
It's just
think?
a
I did a
matter
little
of making
adjustment,
sure
so hopefully
that we can set it
a lot
up
better
every week, right?
But there's always something. This was new today, buzzing. You know, sometimes it's the video doesn't show up, or
It keeps us on our toes.
It does.
And I think that we finally nailed down what I think is going to be a great process for getting clean audio, clean video. It's just a matter of making sure that we can set it up every week, right?
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because that should mean that we can do call-ins. So, as we go today, there's the call-in waiting room in the Gundam Explained Discord, so you can jump in there. I'll pull you in as we go, depending on the topic that we're talking about. But
when we pulled in audio,
audio
via
is
NDI.
acting up.
So I think that what's happening is
Not a
because
good
the
thing.
video that we're pulling from me
do
is via NDI, but the audio.
Oh, it's saying your
audio,
video and audio isn't matching. So did you come across that yesterday, and was there something we did about it?
Desynchronization going on there? Yeah, I think that was occurring when we pulled in audio. So I think that what's happening is because the video that we're pulling from me is via NDI, but the audio is the desktop audio.
And then, let me check. Yeah, Robert's saying the same thing. Okay, hold on. And then for you, I'm going to mute the NDI source.
Or do you want to keep the NDI source
or do
mute the desktop audio?
Well, I had the desktop audio muted.
Oh.
Yeah. Or the... Yeah, whatever it is. Okay, hold on a second. So, let me actually do something, because it...
Robert says now you're clear.
Oh.
So hopefully that means you're coming in clear.
Oh.
And Sayla says that audio and video are matching.
Okay. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did, but I like it.
Synced. Yeah.
This looks like a mess, but it almost looks like we could still do the call-in, so we can test that out a little later. The audio speaking a little, so I'm going to turn it down here. Hey guys, thanks for being around for this behind the scenes of how we try to put this together. But let's jump into it. So today's topics, a few things that are pretty cool. A lot of it brought upon by you guys, the supporters. We got some cool questions from Patreon. Poll stuff that's pretty interesting, like a wing versus seed discussion I like to get into. But again, if you haven't, please subscribe on YouTube. Always leave a comment in the chat of the quality of the stream so we can, always modify that to make it better. Yeah, audio versions everywhere, so it should be everywhere. If there's a podcast platform you use that it's not there, let me know. Other things, we have our Discord. Obviously, you can join. Link in the description. You can do the call-in waiting room. We're going to test that out tonight. Patreon. There's a Patreon. There's some cool perks with that. Link in the description. We do a movie night, which is actually going to be coming up. That's going to be for Endless Waltz. So we'll be watching that on the 26th, I believe it is. Giveaway. Someone asked a question about the giveaway, and I totally forgot to give more details on that. But a video that is in the description for the giveaway is going on. There's a little Sazabi Converge or whatever, those little mini Gunpla thingies, along with this cool coaster, and then some stickers from Gundam Explained. There will be 2 winners. You pretty much just comment on the video. Gunpla building contest. So we just ended a contest for the stream a couple weeks ago. We'll have another Gunpla building contest going on right now. So feel free to build, post pictures of your builds. It'll be a few months until we announce that. And oh yeah, real quick, a shout out Robert, Shield Maiden Sayla. Good to see you guys. The movie night is Endless Waltz for sure, which is good because I just finished Wing, so I need to see that. All right, almost done here, guys. Gunpla community build. So because of I got into Wing and we're going to be watching Wing, the current community build is Wing related, and actually Patreon supporters will be able to be the judges for when we do the finale of the winners, but also there is kind of a people's choice too, where anyone can kind of vote on one they liked. I want to try to slim that down next time, but I know people have been asking, so I'm trying to get it all going together. So I'll give myself a second. Yeah, anything you need to add to my long list of promotional material?
No, I think that you nailed all the things on the list. Shield Maiden Sayla does bring up in the chat Endless Waltz or Kukuru's Doan's Island. So that's another. You mentioned that you have Doan's Island coming in the mail, correct?
Yeah, actually, it should be here tomorrow. And so I'll be watching it to do a review and a breakdown, but that will probably be next month's watch along movie night thing. So that'd be cool. All right, let's get into the meat. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Although this is still.
Oh, Adam, your audio dropped out, sounds like. I wonder if it was when you switched over to the other scene. Yeah.
There we go. And then there we go. Thank you, tech support people. One day
we couldn't do this show without our live audience, because having that instant feedback definitely helps us
get going. And I tell you, the day that we do a show where there are no technical issues, there's going to be some surprise announcement. I'm going to do something to thank the community that we finally got that going. But
yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, just showing off the videos that I recently had up, guys. Check them out. Let me know what you think. But yeah, let me then go back to our full screen. And what I wanted to talk about first, Patreon questions. This is from Ian Hansen. Hey, friends. Since we have been getting more into kits lately and are slowly learning and building new skills, I was curious if either of you have a kit that you'd like to redo with all the skills and knowledge that you've gained over the course of your kit building. Now, this might be a different question for you, Steven, because you are a little more advanced anyway in your technique. But what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm glad that this question came up, and I know that you probably have a lot to contribute to it as well. But I do have a couple of kits that I would like to share, because I have a long and storied history when it comes to Gunpla. My first custom was a GM ground type, which we'll see if my camera will autofocus. I might need to push in here and apologize to the audio only folks for not being able to see this. This took about 2 weeks in a bleach bath to remove all the paint and varnish and weathering that I had put on it. But I've actually already started redoing this, and I'm going to create a GM ground type custom that hopefully will not look as trashy. I was pretty proud of the techniques that I used on it at the time, though. I took apart some old radios and used some of the mechanical components, some pieces off of the motherboard.
That's a good idea.
Kind of created some really unique mechanical parts that I added on to the hull of the mobile suit, if you will. And I think that it came out pretty good, given the fact that I was 13 at the time.
Oh, yeah. Dang, a while ago.
Yeah, this is the old school GM. This is before the high grade series even came out. And then, as mentioned on our stream, I see my face is still blurry here.
Yeah.
As mentioned on our stream yesterday, this is the Ruluka Custom Zeta Plus from what is famously the most ratioed Gunpla video on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Tell you what, if this video, if this podcast gets, what do you say, 10, 20 likes? If we get 20 thumbs up on this podcast, I will unprivate that terrible video of me hand painting this old kit. And that
would be great.
This is after I've repaired it. You know, this took about 2 days soaking in a bleach bath to strip all the paint off of it, and I've just begun what is Hatter's redemption arc, repainting this thing. So
that is good. So guys, let's get the likes.
A lot of Gunpla skeletons in the comments for sure.
Oh, that's funny. That's crazy because you've told me about that, and I can only imagine. I think of even me of when I was first building all the things, like even in the span of 2 weeks, I'm looking at nubs from kits I've recently built and be like, why is the nub still there? You know, but hey, not a big deal. But you know, that is a good one though. So is her custom? What's different about it? It doesn't have the V-fin.
So you know, typically, and I think I've talked about this on the Discord before, is I'm a real stickler when it comes to stories about my custom Gunpla. I tend to kind of imagine, you know, headcanon or whatever you want to call it. You know, this is sort of a what would happen if Ruluka had returned to the Earth sphere during the Laplace's box incident.
Oh.
So, you know, if she and Judo had come back from Jupiter to help Benager do his thing, would she be in a Zeta Plus? And so, you know, basically a little bit of custom paint job on a Zeta Plus, and you know, replacing the beam cannon. You know, the Zeta Plus C1 has that smart beam gun. Replacing it with a minigun, with a Gatling gun, because Ruluka strikes me as the spray and pray kind of fighter.
That's funny. I like that. But you know, this is a good question because I have recently realized that I can go back to a lot of my kits and really look at them with all the tips I've learned, especially this community build and Gunpla contest we had recently. A lot of people were showing like their techniques and how they were doing things. And I think number one, I'm going to go back and do my best sanding down nubs. Now that I finally learned that sanding and polish technique, I'm going to go back, sand down some nubs, start putting some top coats. Speaking of top coats, I tested out, I bought the Tamiya lacquer top coat to test that out, and I didn't even get to finish one kit with it. It was a small bottle. Where did I put that?
I mean, those are like the little, are they like 4.5 ounce cans?
Yeah. I mean, I could probably hold them within my hand. And so there's so much I was going to, actually, I'll get to that later though, but I got some stuff to help me improve on my Gunpla building. But sweet. I think instead of, there's a couple kits I have on my backlog, and I think instead of buying a bunch of new kits, even though that's a lie because I'm going to buy one here shortly, I'm going to try to work on my older ones. And even thinking of like Robert got me a Moon Gundam. I got a Jesta from Santo Bell, and I could even go in and touch up on those and kind of make them look a little better. And then let's see. And that reminds me. And then I have a whole handful of Gunpla that when I moved into the current house I'm in, I put everything in the attic, and then I just took out a few that I built, to display, and then I gave the rest to my youngest. And a year later, they're in millions of pieces, and it's about 12 kits, 12 or more, actually probably more than that. And so my plan is I'm going to do a video showing a pile of plastic that I am going to restore. I'm going to build it. If there's any missing pieces, I'm going to use, I forget that website. I'm going to use the website where the guy kind of sells the runners that have missing pieces. I'm going to try. Yeah, I'm going to try to fully restore decal, top coats. I think that would be a lot of fun. And it's a way for me to learn how to improve the process and maybe show people what I've learned.
Hey, and if you want anything 3D printed, let me know. I'll 3D print some V-fins for you. Something, it'd be a shame to pay $8 on a website for something like a V-fin.
But that's a good point. 3D printing, like having the resin, that really would have a better quality piece than what I use with the filament, the PLA. I don't know if that is the right terminology for that. But yeah, thinking about that makes me realize how nice it is to have a resin printer for that sort of stuff. And then from G. Norwood, what is one thing you like or is in Gundam Wing? Wait, hold on. What is one thing you like or is in Gundam Wing that you wish was in UC Gundam? Zero System, any of the Gundams or weapons they use, characters, etc. And he goes on to say, I would rather see the Zero System than having new types. You could explain things better than saying space magic. So I'm going to have you go first, Stephen, but I just want to say real quick to that last point is the Zero System is kind of like the Psychomu system, maybe the exam system that is in UC, where it's actually manipulating the old type's brainwaves. They didn't have to be a new type. Now, the space magic, as little as it seemed there was in Wing, these Zero Systems were telling people their futures and changing the course of their lives. So maybe that's just an effect of their brain being used to that capacity, kind of like near-death experience, or that is their little fantasy element. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was going to say, as far as the Zero System goes, kind of telling people their future, it was interesting that the Zero System showed different characters, different futures, kind of based on what it thought, if the Zero System was a sentient, AI or something, it really molded the characters' behaviors based on the future that they wanted to see, not necessarily the future that was going to happen. And that was probably the scariest part about it, is that, two different people could experience a different reality based on their personal biases that they were bringing into the Zero System. So
yeah,
it was a very cool concept that I'm ashamed, was wasted on Gundam Wing.
Oh, yeah, it is cool though. Yeah, and then other things in Wing that I really liked. It's weird because some of it might seem contradictory because I like UC for a reason, but with so much lore in UC, I think there's room for something like, for instance, the 5 main Gundams in Wing Gundam. So it's different where, as far as I know, I could be wrong on this, they're not like based on a specific like mass production line of mobile suits. It seems like they're these specific Gundams that are made. And a lot of times what we see in UC is if there's a custom, it's based on something specific and you can see like, oh, that's all from that. And I noticed when I was watching Wing a lot of times, it was like something completely new and different.
Yeah.
And then another thing that I liked where they did the mass production is the mobile doll aspect. And that conflict with having AI pilots versus like a real pilot. And even, and I know this is based on the Mono Eye, but the Leo has just that one single camera, almost like how the Mono Eye is. So what I liked is that was a very different look, especially with the Taurus mobile suits. I really thought that was a cool design where it seems like sometimes in UC the heads have to look like a Gundam, look like a GM, look Zionic. Not necessarily, not all the time, but I think there was a lot of variation in Wing that maybe in newer UC stories they could have someone that is just a genius that wanted to say that he could develop a better mobile suit, and let's say it's a completely different type of system that he came up with how it looks. I don't know.
Well, and that was one of the cool things about Wing that I enjoyed is you brought up, sort of the Leo faceplate that, was kind of like that mono eye look, which was the same face that was beneath the Tallgeese's mask. And it's the same face that's beneath the Ares. The Ares kind of has that fighter pilot helmet, which I think is absolutely awesome. If I were to choose one thing from Gundam Wing to be in UC, it would be the Ares mobile suit because it was my favorite, grunt suit out of Wing, and it feels more realistic as a flight mode, as an atmospheric flight mode than the flight modes that we see in UC, the Zeta Gundam, the Ashamar, things like that. So, but going back to what you were saying, it really has that core mono eye face that's like the same Leo face. It's just obscured by the fighter pilot mask, which I thought was such a cool little touch. Yeah,
they're unique designs for sure. I think that's something I got out of it. And just real quick, shout out to Alan Mitchell. Just saw you in here. Metal Neo saying, "Hey, what did I miss?" Well, I would say you missed nothing. Everything went fine at the beginning. Just normal talking about stuff, no technical difficulties. So, oh, and Shield Maiden Sailor was saying that was that Mecha Parts guy website, and then Neon Wave. I'm late to the party. Well, no problem, man. Glad you're here. Actually, okay. So I think we covered that. Awesome. Moving on. So really, I want to talk about this week. Like anything cool, Steven. Even though we talk about this stuff even on your show, what are some cool Gundams related stuff you gotten into this week?
Well, I don't know. Do you want to take this one first?
Yeah, definitely, because I have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, tell me about.
Yeah. So, for instance, I know I've been showing this one a lot lately, and we talked about this yesterday about lowering the intensity of the light. It makes it easier to see. I have gone into the detail of this every day. Every day I am trying to figure out an area that I can detail it.
A little Gundam marker here.
Before I do the full-on top coat, I'm actually waiting for the high-end Tamiya top coat that I ordered. I want to try on this. And that relates to the next part.
For those listening, it's the Hazel 2 kit, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, Hazel 2. It's like my favorite, and I just waited to like really work on this one. But I got something new. The thing is charging over there. I'm sorry. So I got this, which, obviously it's an airbrush thing, but it actually connects to a battery. It's a hose with a battery, so I don't have to use a compressor, and I can just sit here and mess with it. This will be my first time. I'm going to try it this weekend. And one other reason I got it is because I'm so obsessed with these top coats. And I am just going through them and buying them and testing them. And so I saw it's cheaper to get it in a format to use with an airbrush. And I want to just start top coat testing until I can figure out the best way to get the results I want.
Now, that's the type of airbrush that makeup artists use, correct?
I don't know.
I think that the battery-powered ones tend to be popular with makeup artists who, say they're doing like a wedding and they're, touching up the bride with like some. So it's very portable, very, very handy, which is awesome because, for those of you who have worked with airbrushes while painting Gunpla and you're kind of like fighting with the hose and that kind of stuff, I'm excited to see what you do with that because.
Yeah, I totally am. I've been wanting to do this forever, and it's just I'm trying to incorporate my Gundam workstation in the advanced way. Like before, it was easy because I didn't do many little things, but now I'm doing a lot of different touch-ups. I need a lot of stuff. The compressor, all that stuff. I had to figure out the best way to do it. And, you know, I've heard it was, G. Norwood, he was saying how that the PSI on that is not the typical PSI used on for model kit building, but it can still work. So he warned me of that. So I want to let everyone know that. But when I was reading the reviews, people were showing pictures of model kits that they painted. And so I was like, okay, there's probably a way.
There's a precedent.
Yeah. Another thing, and Robert, I see you in the call-in. I'll get you in just a second. This one's really cool. This one just popped up on Amazon. This is The Men Who Created Gundam. It's a manga that takes sort of the true story of Gundam's creation, but kind of like
a dramatization.
Yeah, exactly, and adds a lot of interesting, fun stories. It reminds me of, like, you know, Bruce Campbell's movie My Name Is Bruce, where I guess a demon attack. I don't know if you saw that, a demon attack. Yeah. So these kids wanted to, like, ask him to help fight a demon because he's Ash, and he's like, that's just in a movie, and but he gets into that stuff. So and I'm gonna start reading this, and I'd like to talk about it on the show too, or have a video about it, because it's very interesting. Just in my mind, I don't ever think of, it would be cool if they made a made up story that's kind of real about how Gundam. I mean, that's such a bizarre concept, but it seems fun. You know,
it kind of reminds me of. Did you see that student film that was like George Lucas in Love? And it was the story of George Lucas writing Star Wars while he was in college.
Yes, I think so. That sounds so super familiar. I'm gonna have to look that up again. Okay. And then what was the other thing? Yeah, Finished Wing. There's that video. Yeah, we talked a lot about Wing. Here's the last thing. I put a link in the Discord, but I found some Gundam pajamas, some pajama pants. I was like, hey, $12.
Sold.
Yeah, exactly. No, but that's it for me. But yeah, I don't know, Steven, I know you were on vacation, so I don't know if you have a lot to share.
Yeah, I don't have anything huge, nothing finished per se. Let's see if my taped job will hold this together, but I am sort of brainstorming a Gunpla right now where I have my 1/1700th scale GPO3 Dendrobium orchis, and I've got a high grade 1/44th scale Dendrobium stamen. And right now they're held together with tape and dreams. Just, I was trying to get the placement right. I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool to make basically like a proto Super Gundam that is, it's the regular sized GPO3, but it's got like a miniaturized missile pack that sits on it. It's got the extra large beam cannon that sits with it. So
that's cool. It's like a mix of a GM Striker and the Victory Gunbuster. It's like a mix of that.
Yeah, exactly. It's got, sort of that mobile armor component to it.
It's still out of focus there.
Idea, but
Steven.
I figured I'd give it a shot. So we'll see.
Still a little out of focus.
Oh, let me correct that.
Okay, so what is your timeline, you think, on, are you still trying to brainstorm how you're going to complete it? Or do you already know how you're going to complete it?
I think it's going to take some time because, there's a lot of parts that I would like to incorporate, and I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that yet. I'm going to have to cut up a lot of parts, so we'll see.
Okay, well, so moving on, we're going to attempt a call-in. Robert wants to call in. I'm going to pull him in. It could be, as I was fixing the audio, it broke our attempts for calling in. So we'll test it out. We'll see what happens. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get into the Seed versus Wing thing, because some people have some things to say about that, and that'll be interesting. So, Robert, I'm going to pull you in. Hey, Robert, you there? I'm not seeing the green light up, so I will just keep on talking, and then if I hear you, Robert, we'll get in. But yeah, let me get to that poll about Wing and Seed. Let me change this. Now, I changed sources, so hopefully everything's cool, everyone.
Now, I see Neon Wave commented in the chat here, Wing versus Seed, his take, Seed has a better story, Wing has better characters and MS designs. Both are iconic, and each is favored in different countries. Seed in Japan and Wing in USA and Canada. Which I think you and I discussed this last night, is that Wing tends to have a little bit of that rose-tinted goggle effect on the Western audience, since it was kind of, what a lot of us in our age group grew up on.
Yeah, and even when I was doing research, I saw that Wing was popular in Japan, even though I always heard it wasn't. It was just US, but maybe that was interpreting it was just that it was so popular in US more than Japan. Not that it just was, because in Japan it sounded like it was popular enough to make the Endless Waltz movie and whatever. So when I did the poll, Wing was at 70%, Seed at 30%, 80 votes. So I think that's a good sample size. And then let's see, I think Alan Mitchell even has something to me. Seed peaks in the first half of Seed Destiny. And also feel the overall lore of Cosmic Era is super cool, but doesn't dive into it as much as it could have in the show. And good to see you, XX96 or Nike 629XX. I butchered that. Red Axis, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Ian Hansen, good to see you, man. But yeah, I'm gonna go into the comments here real quick. And you know what's interesting? I wanted to start Seed, but with a dub. And I had canceled Funimation because they said Funimation was bought by Crunchyroll, and they're like, Crunchyroll is what you use in the future. Crunchyroll is missing a whole bunch of dubs. It doesn't have a dub for most Gundam. It's on like Hulu or Funimation. Yeah, so I don't know what's up with that, because I wanted to watch Seed, and there wasn't a dub. And then I read that there's an HD remaster that's coming out in July, and it has a whole new dub. So maybe that's how I start it.
Where does someone go to watch Gundam these days?
Well, COOIBO, UC stuff like Origin, the original, Zeta, but not Double Zeta, Char's Counterattack are available for streaming. But it seems that it's just those, but there's other things like Double Zeta, obviously, F91, and then a lot of the current stuff, I guess, is available for streaming.
Yeah.
Okay, Robert is saying he's back. Let me pull him in real quick. Hey, Robert, what is going on? But
yeah, you there, buddy?
Oh yeah, sure thing. I hope everyone can hear. So, Steven, can you hear him?
I cannot, actually, which is interesting.
That is interesting. Robert, I am sorry we're having these technical difficulties, but something quick you wanted to say while I try to figure out why that's going on? Robert, you there? Okay. Maybe there's something else going on. Sorry about that, Robert. Couldn't get that to work, but so another thing, and Shield Maiden Sayla is even saying that Crunchyroll only has, the dubs for 0079 and IBO. Yeah. And then there's another show that I keep hearing about that's good, and I can't pronounce the name, I'm sorry. Or it's like Garan Lagarn or Lurgan Garan or something like that. It seems like it's a mech show that seems to be popular, and that's one where there's no dub on Crunchyroll, but there's a dub on Hulu. So it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's strange how that all works out.
Sure. Lucas Garrett, and good to see you, Lucas.
Finding anything, any of the OVAs like, War in the Pocket or Stardust Memory, that stuff.
Yeah, that's
if you don't buy the Blu-rays, then
and that's what I've been doing. A lot of my money goes to the Blu-rays. So I wanted to look at a little bit of this. So Ernie Strother, Wing for the characters, Gundam storyline, voice acting, plot, and fight scenes. Seed has some cool mobile suits. And from what I have seen of Seed, it seems that the mobile suits are actually top tier there. Shield main Sayla, Gurren Lagann, and Crunchyroll doesn't have the dub. Yeah, and when I went to go watch it, it didn't have a dub, and I was like, I'm sure this does. Funimation does, and Hulu does. But it's weird because they told me to cancel Funimation and switch to Crunchyroll. There was like a banner at the top of the Funimation page. Why did I listen to them? Let's see. Rogue New Type. Wing for the suits, characters, and nostalgia. SS. Wing is the first most seen here in the States, like me. The Wing guys would literally beat the Seed boys so bad that they would quit and go cry in a corner. Plus, the Wing guys never went all emotionally trying to suck up to women or let them use them. Kira, way better interactions. Okay, interesting. Wow. You know, Steven, I don't think I asked you. Have you watched all of Seed?
I have.
Oh,
and
okay.
you know, my hot take, and this I know is probably going to get me kicked out of the Gundam community as we know it, is I actually really enjoyed Seed Destiny. I didn't like the original Seed, but Seed Destiny being a sort of dramatic retelling of Zeta Gundam, I appreciated that. And so I enjoyed Seed Destiny. So
like Seed was almost a retelling of the original. Destiny is almost like a retelling of the follow-up.
Yeah, I would say loosely.
Wow.
Sure.
Very interesting. I mean, I could even see with Wing all the tropes that appear, and it's like, it's comforting. I think I said that in my review, how this is tropey, but it's comforting, you know, because it's familiar. Let's see. Just a gamer says, personally, I love all the suits from Wing, but from Seed, I only like the Strike. I haven't seen both series yet, so I cannot comment about anything else. Okay, yeah. The Strike is one that I can recognize. Oh, and here's Robert. Yeah. Seed, because it was the first one I came across, not going to lie, I prefer the 3 ships alliance over the other factions any old day. Viva la pie. That must be French.
Now, I would say that this is probably a disclaimer that we probably should have put in the poll, is do you include Seed Astray or Astray, you know, depending on how you pronounce it. I pronounce it Astray, even though it's probably incorrect. But Seed Astray, most people really like the Astray red frame, the Astray blue frame, etc. They like the Seed Astray manga, but not necessarily Seed and Seed Destiny. So that might give it the edge over Wing, I would say.
Yeah, it's interesting to bring that up because I see that mobile suit a lot, all the time. There's a bunch of variations. I mean, and it looks sick. So, I mean, I could see why. But that's interesting. That's what's cool. Even though, you know, sometimes we might dislike one Gundam series over another, at least it brings stuff to the table. That's usually pretty fun. All right. And then Shield Maiden Sayla 79. I haven't seen Seed, so I can't judge. Shrugs. Yeah. It would be cool for then, you know, me to watch it, cover it, get some people into it that haven't watched it. Let's see. Metal Neo. Well, he lists a whole bunch of Gundams that he likes from each series. So if you guys want to go check that out. Some of these I haven't even heard of, but thanks, Metal Neo. Emmanuel Namani, Wing. Oh, MW just says Noin, and I totally agree. Noin is a great character.
She's awesome.
I know. Man, sometimes these characters, it's like when they're on screen, it's like I can't wait to hear what they're going to say, what they're going to tell everybody. Let's see. The other one, SS. Wow, deleted my comment on Gundam Good Ol' F and YouTube. Yeah, I heard about that. Like the day that I guess this was posted, people in the Discord were saying YouTube was like deleting comments. Probably a bug. You know how it is. I know what bugs are like. Technical issues. I for sure do.
Yeah. You and I practically invented them.
And then I'm gonna jump in here real quick. Ryu Aganokami, good to see you again. Thank you for your delivery. I like the Seed series, which has more variations than Wing for Gunpla. I especially like the non-combat MS, Stargazer Gundam. Oh, non-combat MS. Yeah, not familiar with that.
That's something you don't get from a lot of Gundam series.
Ah, okay. And then Neon Wave, here's someone likes Destiny, urge to go berserk rising. Wow. Yeah, hey, just the negative comments of Wing did trigger people. I get it. And then Alan Mitchell, funny, I feel like Seed Gundam are more powerful than Wing, only they fire a lot more often while Wing has the almighty Buster Rifle. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Robert, I'm going to try one more time, just not to delay things any further, but let me pull you in. Robert, are you there? No.
I'm not seeing the little green ring.
Yeah. All right, I'm sorry, Robert, I do have to move on. And again, maybe that's our side for some reason, but yeah, like you said, we did not see the green ring. Okay. Where was I? Neon Wave. Okay, replying to Alan. And then Shield Maiden Sayla is saying, I'm gearing up to watch Seed soon, but I'm afraid I won't be able to take it seriously because Ed and Double D from Ed and Eddie voice Kira and Atherin, respectively. So
well, I mean, to that I would say Gundams have many weapons, Ed boy.
And you know what? I never watched Ed, and Eddie.
Oh,
I knew about it. And it just never was on my radar.
To me, it was like a spiritual successor to one of those like Ren and Stimpy type shows that you and I had in the 90s, where it's just on the edge of being inappropriate for children.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, that's pretty cool. And it's funny because sometimes SpongeBob is like that. And I've gone through waves of SpongeBob. When my little brother, when I lived with my parents, he would watch it, and then by the time I had my kids, they were watching it. And so there's like, it wasn't part of my childhood, but I definitely watched SpongeBob. Yeah, there was something else I was going to mention about that. Yeah, about the voice actors. And it's very interesting because, again, like Katra is the Amuro Ray voice actor. There was also something else I was watching, and I was like, who is that voice actor? And then I saw a picture of it, and I was like, that looks like an actor in G-Savior. Come to find out, I guess there's actors in G-Savior that were Gundam voice actors in the first place.
That's awesome.
Or anime voice actors, yeah. So, yeah, that stuff is always cool. It's that comforting familiarity, I think. Brian Zanichelli, what's up, Adam and Steven? Good to see you, man.
Hey, good to see you.
Okay, so what we're going to do next is move on to the P Bandai, because I didn't know about this, but they have a bunch of pre-orders that are going up, and I actually don't think they're available yet to pre-order. Oh, it is. See, this is what I was saying I wasn't going to buy a Gundam, and then I was like, I might later. So it's not this one, but here's just like you were talking about, the Astray.
There you go.
Or Ashtray.
Well, I think Ian's picking on me in the chat saying that it sounds like I'm saying ashtray. So.
Oh, really? That's funny. So anyway, I think a lot of these are re-releases, though.
It does look that way.
Which, I mean, it's still cool because, so for instance, I'm going to go through each one, but I just want to say, I have been eyeing this since I got into Gundam, but it was always over $100. And for those listening, it's the Master Grade Hazel Custom. So that definitely is my favorite right there. And you know what? That's funny because when I was looking at this, I noticed there's more color detail. And some of the colors are actually different than the high grade, which messes with my canon-focused mind. But then I got the shield, and I was like, oh, I should add those red dots. And then I realized I put some in the wrong spot, but I'm going to fix that. But I like the idea of referencing like a master grade to really build out a high grade detail.
Agreed.
Okay, let's see what else we got here. A Jesta Cannon, master grade. That's a cool one. And then a Rebawu. Is that how you would pronounce that?
Yeah, the Rebawu.
Rebawu. And I know this, the Bawu's a favorite of yours in general, right?
It is. Yeah, it's probably one of my top 5 Xeon suits.
And when they add the Re in front, is that like how the Rigazi had that as well? Is it supposed to
denote sort of the refined Bawu, which in this case, so I guess the lore behind this suit is that it was designed as a custom suit for Full Frontal, but he never actually piloted it because they designed the Sinanju instead. And so what it comes down to is it is just a Bawu with a Sinanju head and like maybe a few extra skirt pieces.
Yeah.
But it's really sharp looking.
Yeah. No, it is. That is cool that you knew that history because I didn't, but looking at it, it definitely has that like that Neo Xeon sleeves kind of look to it. Although I can't tell from this picture if it actually has the actual sleeves, but on the chest it has that Neo Xeon thing. So that's cool. Yeah, in the chat,
sure.
as we go through this, if anyone, tell me if you think something's badass, because I'm curious as well. Okay, Impulse Gundam. I guess that's something from Seed.
Yep.
We were talking about. The Hazel, of course, I'm going to grab that after this. And a Mastery Enhanced Double Zeta. What exactly does it make it enhanced? Is it... Let's see. Yeah, Steven, do you happen to know?
So in the I was gonna say in the anime there is the whole enhancement process that happens before the final battle with Haman Karn, but I don't know exactly if there was any visual distinctions that are going to appear on the kit. It looks like, I mean, you've got it pulled up here.
It's the light stuff, yeah, where it's just like barely on there, but I mean, which is still cool. It could be where you like change out maybe some of the shoulder pieces,
some part swapping,
add some fins somewhere. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but a couple of years ago there was a high grade UC-88 Zeta Gundam, which, you know, it had maybe 5 parts that were different from the original HG UC Zeta Gundam, but it was a P Bandai, and like, you know, only the most discerning of Gundam fans would notice the difference. That was like, oh, that's the Zeta Gundam that was in Double Zeta, not the one that was in the Grips conflict.
Wow, yeah, I don't think I would have pointed that out. I'm ashamed of myself. Let's see. Oh, and expansion parts for it. Pretty cool. It looks like, yeah, it's just edgier stuff.
Pretty sweet looking.
Okay, so here's something that's cool. So Sayla's building the real grade crossbone, but I did not see that they had an X2. I thought a lot of these were re-releases, but this must be a new release. It's probably a lot of redone parts that are already used. But the crossbone real grade is one of the best model kits I think there is. I don't know if you've built that one. It's super solid. Like when you're done, it is an action figure. And that core booster ship, I love that.
So slick. And, you know, for anyone who has the cash and wants to pre-order this, I mean, $37 US is an incredible price for a real grade kit, especially considering, you know, the Gunpla market right now. So
the only thing that I will say that I recommend is there's that crossbone emblem that you can put on the chest. The chest piece chest piece is curved, so when you place it on there, the type of decal they give you, it's not good for that. So those thicker ones, you know, I would recommend anyone that wants to put the stickers, like Sayla, if you're going to do that, to see if you can get some water slides, at least for just that chest piece, because for me it just won't adhere fully convex to the to the protrusion of the chest. Okay. Yeah, it's something like that. 50-50 chance of getting it right.
There you go.
But yeah, this is really
stalagmite.
Yeah. But what's also really cool is I can already tell just by looking at the V-fin, it's the X2 V-fin. You know, that's a little more interesting or pronounced, whatever. So that's a cool one for sure. Okay, here's a cool one. The real grade Tall Geese 3, which I'm assuming this is an Endless Waltz thing.
It is. So I'm looking forward to getting your first reaction to that when we watch Endless Waltz here for the Patreon.
I can't wait because I'm already missing Wing. Let's see. Oh, here, I'll ask one spoiler. I'll ask for one spoiler. Is Noin in it?
Noin is in it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm really curious what's going on next with her. I loved her arc at the end.
I did too. She's a fascinating character, and I go back and forth between Noin and Sally Poe.
Oh yeah,
you know they're very
smart.
I think that Wing Gundam probably handles their female characters a lot better than most modern Gundam series.
Yeah. I got to say, I mean, just thing that makes me want to rewatch, and even though it's animation and sometimes bad voice acting, I love how they write the characters reacting to things or making their decisions. Like I love how she said she thinks he's out there at the end.
Let's see. Testament Gundam. This looks cool. Do you know what this is from?
No, this is a new one to me.
That
but
looks
if I had to
sick.
guess, it looks very buildy.
Yeah, and it has that. That's a good point because it has aspects from various Gundam. It's got the the high heels, and it's got kind of that G self V fin going on. But it looks great. Oh, and it looks seed like because how it has the booster on the back.
It is in fact a seed Gundam. It's a Zaft Gundam.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah, that looks very nice. Okay, let's see. And then a Blaze Zaku, which I think this is something that I think I got to a giveaway winner recently. The Blaze Zaku. I think that's a seed thing, or Phantom Blaze Zaku.
Yeah.
Another Astray. 31. Load Astray. That's an interesting name. Where do they get a load of that sword? And it's a whip. That is sick.
I'm gonna have to put you in dad jail for that joke.
Hey, I've been in dad jail for a while, and I've grown to love it. All right, and then and then they have the RX-93FF. They have a real grade, which is cool. It's probably similar to the new Gundam real grade. And then they have they call it a BB Senshi, but it's like an SD. And then the entry grade one. Oh, not a high grade? But they do have a high grade booster for the new Gundam, which is a kind of a cool. That's actually a good way to pose it. I've had it on its stand forever. That'd be kind of a cool way to pose it. And then just some apparel. You always check out Kakarot 197 if you want to get the lowdown on the latest apparel. It's cool stuff though, because it looks like this is from Kukuru's Doan's Island.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. We'll look at a chat before we get to our last topic. Even Shield main Sayla is saying that Noin is awesome. So, and then Ian, was that sarcasm I detected in your voice with that missing wing comment? Oh, it's surprise. I think it's almost like my subconscious is like, "What, Adam? What?" But no, it's Let's see. Lucas, my wallet is about to hate me very much. Yeah. Oh, yeah. 2 call-outs between Ian and Shield Main Sayla about a Pacific Rim-looking sword. I've only seen the first one, and it's been a while. I need to get back into that. Like, as much as I love mechs, for some reason, to me, the Pacific Rim stuff just seemed like giant robots, even though isn't that what a Gundam is? But I don't know. For some reason, it's weird how I'll be attracted to certain robots. There's certain robots that I like, certain ones I don't. I don't know what that's about, actually.
No, I definitely get that. A lot of people say that that they hate like super robot genres, but then they'll sit there and watch Zeta Gundam, and I'm like, did you see the Zeta Gundam go full Super Saiyan at the end of the series?
Yeah,
spoilers.
No,
he uses the Kaioken technique.
That's a good point. It's almost like even Pacific Rim is almost more super robot-like, right? Because it's like a specific robot, and it's like its main thing, and then it goes and fights. It's not like an army. I guess I'm more into when it's in the context of war or something. I don't know.
No, I'm with you.
Okay, so I want to look at the NZ333 Alpha. I've heard it pronounced Alpa. Aziru. You can even see the Japanese kind of translation. That's why the Alpha is pronounced Alpa.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about Char's pronunciation of things like the Tetons or Haman or anything like that.
That was an interesting thing about Char's counterattack. There's a lot of that. But yeah, this is the one that's piloted by the most hated pilot in all of Gundam. Not only UC, but I would say I haven't watched all Gundam series yet, but I would say Quest is probably worse than any other character.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people hate Kira from Gundam Seed, but I think that you would find more people hate Quest than hate Kira, and that's a lot of hate to go around.
Well, it's interesting. She had this Alpha Aziru, and the main thing about it was how you wonder who were they developing it for? Was it supposed to be Gyune, and then eventually Quest comes in the picture. Char likes her abilities, decides to use her in this, and if I remember correctly, it didn't even have that much screen time, and it got destroyed very easily.
Yeah.
So, but the cool thing about it though is it looks like a Sazabi without legs. So it would almost be like the Zeong, the history of the Zeong, and then the mobile armor kind of history of Zeon in there. Let's look at this real quick. I just like to see. So it was developed from a Psycho Doga, so you can kind of see that with the head. And then an AMA 00GR0GR. Oh, okay, this is cool. This is from Char's Deleted Affair, so I guess, yeah, the evolution of the development of that. So that's very cool to see that. So heading back here, let's see. It was first seen and last seen March 12th of 0093.
Short-lived.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see. It is the direct descendant of the new Zeal.
Yes.
From the Delaz conflict. Let's look at that. Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, I get these two confused. I get these two confused a lot, but that makes complete sense.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, like, was the Alpha Zero in development for Ana Volgato before he was killed? I'm not sure exactly what the development track of the Alpha Zero was, whether it started production after the new ZL was destroyed or...
That's a good question because and I say only because I think it's a short amount of time. It's only 10 years between the development of this and the Alpha. So that's a good one to look into. Wait, hold on, visited. I was seeing if it would. Okay. Yeah, just talking about Gato using that. Okay. So armaments, a Vulcan gun, that's kind of typical. Twin large Vulcan gun, okay. Folding claw arm, that's an interesting weapon. Which claw arms, to me, those make sense as weapons, even though you feel practically it doesn't. Like how much in Gundam, there's a lot of melee stuff I wouldn't expect, other than a beam saber. But I just don't. I feel like if I'm a mobile suit punching another mobile suit, I'm going to destroy my arm just as much as I destroy whatever I hit. But I guess as a folding claw arm, maybe its ability to pierce and rip maybe allows it to not destroy itself.
Yeah. One thing that I don't think you've seen in UC, close quarters combat is you never see a mobile suit use its sub arms or its claw arms to kind of lock an opponent from escaping, which I think would have been a useful, way of kind of controlling the fight, right? I mean, the Neo Zeong technically does that when it grabs the Unicorn Gundam, but
yeah, and then the Bjarlint, I think it doesn't grab, but I think in the middle of a fight, it then like pulls out a saber, I think, or a beam saber with its additional arm.
Yeah.
Okay, head mega particle gun, so that's in the head. Chest mega particle gun. Dang, it had a lot of good weapons. 5-barrel wired Saikamu mega arm cannon. Is it weird that it's wired at that point in the UC timeline? Unless they were really not expecting a new type to use it. Maybe it was actually being built for general purpose. And didn't it say it had a Saikamu system? Or
it does have a Saikamu.
So that makes sense because that can be then worked with for old types or whatever. Let's see, enlarged funnel. So large funnel does 9 funnels. Okay.
Yeah.
Detachable stern thruster. That's something we're familiar with. Escape shuttle. The head of the Alpha. That's where the cockpit's located, and it can detach from the main body. Okay.
It's a shame nobody told Quest that.
Yeah, I know. So Okay, and it appears in the 5th episode of Gundam Evolve, which I have, and I keep forgetting to review that for the channel because the Gundam Evolve has those little shorts, they add context to various.
Those little vignettes are fantastic.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to watch those. So let's look at this legacy here. After the Second Neo-Zeon War, Alpha Zero's remains were recovered by Butch Concern. Interesting name. Its Saikamu technology was reverse engineered and combined with data from a Denon-type mobile suit to spawn the mobile armor XMA. Okay, so that's interesting because a Denon is a... isn't it the crossbone or the Babylonian?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Okay, so this is my first time seeing a relation here. Let me look up Butch because I've heard this name before. Oh, because is it okay, it's still loading the page, but it's not showing. Oh. Okay, let's see. By the Butch Concern. So that seems to be it's a space pirate group.
Yeah.
Okay. But interesting to see that through line that we're seeing from Char's counterattack to potentially F91/Crossbone.
Sayla says, Butch Concern sounds like an Austin Powers name.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
Yeah. There you are. That's where you are. You're there.
Well, let's see. And that's a dad joke.
That's
Okay.
a dad joke.
All right. And there were some variants, so we can kind of see the development of that. And then just some line art here.
Sweet.
Very cool. Now, I can't say, and I don't know if I've looked for a model kit or a robot spirits of one. Here's a 1/400 and a 1/550. I guess that would be gigantic.
That would be huge. I mean, that's Neo Zeon size.
Yep. Oh, Gashapon. Very cool. Okay. Well, that is awesome. Yeah, heading back to the full screen there. So yeah, that was kind of cool to look at the Alpha Zero because I've never really looked into it, but I guess I learned today that it has a through line to F91 and Crossbone, which I always love stuff like that.
It's very cool.
And then to look in, okay, Shield Maiden Sayla 79 saying Gundam Breaker Mobile had a claw module piece that worked as a melee weapon for close quarters combat. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. Robert is saying Nail is in the head of Piccolo. Now, I don't know what that means. Let's see. Ryu Ganokami, the MA0 the R, I mentioned earlier, has a red coloring, so it looks like a Char's exclusive use. Okay. I'll have to look into that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one that was kind of developed prior to the Alpha Zero. And I think that there is in the mangas, there's a Beta Zero, which was designed for Char.
Oh,
which is like
okay.
It's basically like a red Alpha Zero.
Ah, okay. Okay, well, cool. I think that's it for the episode, this podcast episode. I had a lot of fun. It's always fun talking about Gundam, that's for sure. So, yeah, everyone that's watching, please join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. There's giveaways, contests going on. If anyone has any questions about events and stuff, yeah, just shoot me a Discord message or email Gundam explain@gmail.com. Just it's better that I get feedback so I know how to properly do these things here. But yeah, and then Steven, you can see his stuff at Midnight Hatter, YouTube. I'll make sure I put the link in the description here. But if you don't know him by now, who are you even? No, I'm joking.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll be there next week.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, every Wednesday we do a live stream. I get to geek out about video games, which I love to do, and other stuff too. It's a variety show. But yeah, Steven, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Discord, and thanks for keeping the chat lively tonight, and thanks for your patience as we put together a high quality, well designed show here. So
you bring up a good point, guys. We're trying to get it to where it's a pleasant watching experience, super quality, where you can totally hear and see things properly. We'll get that down. Anyway, well, everyone, thanks for watching. I'm going to end this, and we will see you guys next time.